Good afternoon and thank you for joining us. I'm Jurnee Taylor. If you were with us last night and this morning, you know we've been following that severe weather that swept through the state. That coverage continuing right now here at noon. Our team working to bring you the latest on the storm aftermath. Now in a second, THV 11's Brooke Buckner takes you out to Hot Springs Village where a tornado touched down, and meteorologist Nathan Scott on where things stand now in the forecast. But first, thousands are left without power this afternoon. Here's a closer look at that power outage map. Your time now is 12:01, and you can see at the top of your screen at least 4,000 Arkansans are without power. Most of that coming from places in Saline and Garland counties. We'll have more on that confirmed tornado in Hot Springs Village in just a second. But first, a pretty extreme weather event last night. But with things looking quiet today, Nathan, can folks put their worrying behind?
Good afternoon, Jurnee. It was certainly intense storms developed across a large part of central Arkansas, producing some big hail as expected. Here are all the hail reports and severe weather reports across the state of Arkansas that came in to the National Weather Service, and you can clearly see it was certainly over the Ouachitas and into Oklahoma that really got the worst weather. We are done with any threat of severe weather for the rest of our Friday. Still some rain lingering across parts of the state, especially down to South Arkansas. But even here in Central Arkansas, there is this light rain or drizzle right across Saline County, Pulaski County, into Lono County, and also down to the south. Well, hang on to that chance of spotty rain through the course of our Friday. There's more of a steady rain happening into southern parts of Arkansas, and also a flash flood warning in effect for Union County. That goes until 1:30. And the reason behind that is when you take a look at the 24-hour rainfall estimates by radar, overnight they have seen 8 to over 9 inches of rain. Union County, Columbia County, and even parts of Lafayette County. Visible satellite, we're socked in with the clouds. The temperature is much cooler than what we saw yesterday when highs topped out into the upper 70s to lower 80s. That's what fueled those big time storms. Today's highs pretty much staying into the mid 60s with that chance of spotty showers. Weekend, things will improve. Talking mainly a dry weekend. I'll have that forecast coming up.
All right, Nathan, thank you. Well, let's send things over to THV 11 reporter Brooke Buckner, who's in Hot Springs Village. Brooke, how are things looking?
In front of Highway 7 in Hot Springs Village, and as you can see behind me, crews are hard at work trying to restore power to the area and the shopping center, as you see there. One of the businesses without power is Village Nutrition, and I did just speak with the owner on the phone, and he says in addition to line crews working, so is the Arkansas Food Bank. They actually just loaded up a truck full of frozen and refrigerated foods, and they plan to do another one just so it's not going to waste, and instead it's going toward a good cause. Also, he says he hopes things go back to normal sooner rather than later.
Well, this is going to hurt business, and I hope we can get back up soon because people need what we got, and it also, I got employees, I got to pay them, But this is just crazy. I mean, I don't know what to say.
I also did just speak to the Garland County Emergency Management Office, and they tell me there are no major injuries. That is something to be grateful for. And also, most of the damage is inside the actual Hot Springs Village. We do plan to go there after this, check it out for ourselves, and check on the people there. And I'll have more updates tonight on THV 11 at 5 and 6, so tune in for that. For now, reporting live in Hot Springs Village, Brooke Buckner, THV 11 News.
All right, Brooke, thank you. Well, folks in northern Arkansas also getting hit by storms just as bad. In Hickory Creek Marina, dozens of boats and docks were damaged from strong winds. And it doesn't stop there. A woman is now left to deal with repairs on her newly purchased camper after she decided to bunker down in the midst of the storm's wrath. According to her, she was shaken up quite a bit, but she says she's just thankful to be okay.
I went inside, started putting things away. And then all of a sudden, I hear a lot of crashing, popping, and my camper's going everywhere. So I went to open the door. When I did, it just so happened to knock me back.
Pretty harsh, as you just heard. Well, Curtis was trapped for about 15 minutes as she waited out the storm and says the structure's left side is falling apart. Well, it's times like these that our THV11 team works effortlessly to keep you informed to help you make it through the storm, which is why that's a good idea to keep our mobile app installed on your phone. That way, important updates are readily available with the click of a button. That same storm system that moved through our state continued to wreak havoc in other parts of the country. CBS's Clay Gordon has the details on the impact being felt across the U.S.
In Auglaize County, this witness caught the moment a tornado formed.
There's some of our boxes.
In neighboring Logan County, a reported tornado ripped through a trailer park. First responders at the scene say the damage was extensive and are calling it a mass casualty event. They reported at one point a shortage of ambulances.
Tornado on the ground right over the Ohio River.
A view from above shows extensive destruction to numerous homes, roofs torn off, buildings torn to shreds, and piles of debris strewn across neighborhoods.
We just ran to the middle of the house into the utility room, and about 30 seconds later it hit and you see the damage.
A different violent tornado slammed Randolph and Delaware counties in eastern Indiana. Emergency officials are there this morning trying to confirm the extent of injuries and possible deaths.
That work will begin in the morning to actually go through and subdivide every single one of those properties and do everything within our power to find out if there is anyone still within the confines of those collapsed buildings.
The same storm system dumped buckets of large hail from Texas to the Midwest.
I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but it's full of dings.
Clay Gordon, CBS News, Lakeview, Ohio.
And all this going on as we're nearing the one-year anniversary of the March 31st tornado that devastated communities throughout the state. It's a day that will live with many for quite some time, as pain could be felt across most of our communities. Almost a year later, we're starting to see some progress be made to restore those places hit hardest. From park cleanup to restoring the state's natural beauty, THV11's Michaela Johnson spoke with North Little Rock Mayor on how things are moving forward.
Think back, March 31st, what did you hear at 5 o'clock? Everybody's kind of said chainsaws. Chainsaws were going off everywhere. People were out helping other people from all parts of the neighborhood, from even other cities.
Well, that unity, as you just heard, signifying the strength of Arkansans who come together when the going gets tough. Well, shifting gears for a bit as a new face is set to step up as mayor for the city of Bryant. Today, Chris Treats is being sworn into his new leadership role after being elected just last week. This following the resignation of his predecessor, Alan Scott. Incoming Mayor Treats served as the city's Parks and Recreation Director since 2016 and will take the oath of office at 1 o'clock at the Bryant District Court. One organization is aiming to use mental health resources to reduce crime across Little Rock. 2 years ago, the group known as Our House applied for funding to combat their mission, which has allowed them to expand their services to dozens of more people. They're now hoping the city of Little Rock allows them to do even more.
We know that mental health and homelessness are paired together, and how can we, work collaboratively to meet those mental health needs. I think when we look at mental health access for individuals, it's about trying to meet people where they're at.
City directors will decide next Tuesday on whether or not to continue these services for Our House and two similar organizations. New updates as a jury decides the fate of a father whose teenage son killed 4 students in the Michigan high school shooting 3 years ago. James Crumbly received a guilty verdict of involuntary manslaughter after his son, Ethan Crumbly, used a gun owned by his father, James, to open fire at Oxford High School back in 2021. James's wife and Ethan's mother, Jennifer Crumbly, was also convicted of similar charges just last month. Supporters lining up as former President Donald Trump arrived for a hearing on the case related to his handling of classified documents. As that trial wrapped up yesterday, this was the scene outside a federal courthouse in Florida. His lawyer spent Thursday morning explaining why those charges should be dismissed, arguing that Trump is shielded from prosecution by the Presidential Records Act. There's always an experience out there worth trying or hearing about at least. In just a few, we'll take a brief adventure overseas for a look at a not so typical hotel.
And it was a rough night across central Arkansas, a large part of Arkansas. I'm doing a picture there. I'm going to show you that right after the break of the flooding that was happening in Maumelle just because we had torrential rain. Now all that heavy rain has marched its way into Louisiana and Mississippi. Still some spotty showers down the landscape here in central Arkansas, but improving conditions can be expected this weekend. I'll have that weekend forecast and also talk about the potential of a frost and freeze early next week coming up.